West of Orlando, Ocoee, Florida. Despite the rapid growth gripping Florida, the West Oaks Mall just can't appear to carve a niche for itself. And I doubt Moonbeam Capital Investments, the current owners, is doing the mall any favors either. That's a name I have not mentioned in a long time, and, well, it's a bit too soon. But let's take a look at the West Oaks Mall and discuss its situation. Originally called the Lake Lotta Mall, Home Art Development Company purchased the 130 acres of land in 1995 with plans for a new shopping mall. With assistance from Thompson, Ventilette, Steinbach and Associates, the mall would be on track for an August 1996 opening with the following anchors: Dillard's, Sears, JCPenney, and Gayfers. The mall would also boast 125 inline tenants, a food court, and even a multi-screen cinema. There were some hiccups along the way, with General Growth Properties taking over Home Art's development arm, and they would push the opening date back to October. But added to the mall's features would be a new 600 square foot playground for the kids. And in October 2, 1996, the mall would open its doors, seeing a crowd of 30,000 people. Say what you want, but the mall at least had a strong start. The only major tenant that didn't open on schedule was the multi-screen AMC theater. They wanted to build a 24-screen cinema instead of a 14-screen one. But this never came to be, and they would open the 14-screen cinema in 1997. Probably a blessing in disguise, as theaters are struggling to stay on their feet today. While the mall opened in the 90s, there was a bit of musical chairs with one particular anchor at the mall. Gayfers was the first to go, as the chain was acquired and then vored by Dillard's, with its location going to the Parisian in 1998. Fast forward to 2004, and Parisian would be turned over to McRae's for about 1 year, before that turned into Belk in 2005. And then Belk would close in February 2008. When the pad remained vacant, GGP did announce plans to demolish the anchor building for a lifestyle center concourse. However, these plans wound up falling through, and it never happened. This would be the first crack in the mall's record, but things were just getting started as Moonbeam Capital Investments would buy the mall from GGP in 2012. Sears would close its doors in January 2013, an early casualty of the world's slowest liquidation sale. However, in 2016, this space would get converted over into a SunPass customer service center. As in that company that gives you a box which allows you to go through the toll booths for a little bit cheaper. Meanwhile, the former Belk space would become home to a Bed Bath & Beyond call center in 2017. This at least brought the mall into a mixed-use center. Meanwhile, however, Dillard's would downgrade into a clearance center. While the anchor situation appeared to stabilize with JCPenney and Dillard's still continuing on, the inlines were starting to disperse, with only a handful of mall staples hanging around the mall. And even those are beginning to leave as the 2020s progress, with Foot Locker and The Children's Place leaving in 2022, followed by Jimmy Jazz in 2023. I'm not quite sure what Moonbeam's plans are for the mall, and their track record with struggling malls is, to put it nicely, bad. I also noticed that the call center that operated in the Belk pad appears to have been short-lived as well, probably because Bed Bath & Beyond itself is not doing well. Despite that, It does appear that the mall is open to alternative businesses and services, with the SunPass Center still going, along with the tax collector's office. It's a decent enough start, but you need more done. Call centers and civic services does not a successful revitalization make. But it isn't over until the fat lady sings, so we'll have to wait and see what happens with the mall next. Who knows? Maybe my concerns about the owners can be proven wrong. Okay, at the cost of going on a tangent, Moonbeam Capital Investments. Let's talk about them for a moment. You ever wonder why I seem biased against the company? Well, to be fair, some of the blame could be put on local management in some cases, but whenever I've seen the company at the helm, the mall just completely collapses tenant-wise. Maintenance falls apart, and, well, worst case scenario, you end up with Century 3 Mall in Pennsylvania. Appeals against demolition even though it's condemned beyond repair, coupled with it being the hottest thing since Rolling Acres Mall for urban exploration, despite heavy security enforcement. But with that said, the situation is a little more gray on Century 3. Moonbeam did have a redevelopment plan for Century 3 Mall, but after some legal disputes with Sears, who still owned the anchor there, Moonbeam they dropped those plans, and they let the mall die. It's also known that they have some of the most aggressive mall security. I know this from experience, and there are some mall enthusiasts out there who have outright horror stories about it. Getting back to West Oaks in Florida, though. Now, maintenance seems pretty good, and they actually do have a little bit of occupancy, but I do see one thing that I don't really like. Redevelopment in 2017 announced. And of course, the source no longer exists when I try to look at it. I'm not quite sure why the plan was scrapped, nor what the contents of it were, but again, this mall is doing a little better than what I've seen in bigger pictures. The mall isn't terribly dead. It's struggling, definitely, but I wouldn't call it dead yet. But how do you keep a place going when it's up against places like the Mall at Millennia, the Florida Mall, Winter Garden, and various outlet centers? Not to mention Disney World, Universal Resort, or SeaWorld, love 'em or hate 'em, they sweep entertainment. How do you go up against that? Can you even make yourself stand out? I have been doing some digging for recent happenings and goings-on here, and trying to sort out crosstalk with another West Oaks mall in Houston, Texas. There are still events held at this mall, which, again, is good for keeping people coming back for one reason or another. Though one thing that stuck out to me is not as pretty. Theft. Theft appears to be a rather big issue at the mall, which can and does impact some tenants' decisions to remain or leave. And over time, that does add up in the form of shrink. While I'm never a big fan of mall cops, security is necessary for maintaining order and at least deterring things like that from happening more often. At least I can get a sense that the staff here still care, which is better than I can say for quite a few malls I've been into. This just about concludes our walk around the West Oaks Mall. It's struggling, and it appears to be stuck in limbo, but it's not the worst thing I've seen. It's one of the malls ever made. But enough from me. What are your thoughts on the mall? Have any memories of this place or some additional insight? Do share down below. Oh, good God, everybody's just showing up now. Until next time, Ocoee, Florida, this is Doomie Grunt wishing you and the West Oaks Mall farewell and good luck in this mad, mad, mad world. It's too bad all the interesting Florida Man stories happen in Orlando proper. There's virtually nothing about Florida Man in Ocoee.